How many times have you asked someone else, what should you do? How many times have you Googled the answer, scrolled through social media looking for a sign, or better yet, called your friends asking for advice when deep down you already know what you needed to do? Well, hey, my beautiful people, welcome to the season of self-love. It's your girl, the goddess Nyomi Banks. And you know what I was been thinking all weekend long about this topic. We spend so much time looking outside of ourselves for direction. But the truth is that the clearest compass that you have is your own voice, your inner knowing, your truth. And today we're going to talk about how to use your voice to navigate life decisions, not the voice of fear, not the voice of other people's expectations, but your voice, the one that knows, the one that's been trying to guide you all along. So, if you're ready, you ready? All right, so let me welcome you properly. Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast, the season of healing intentionally. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am so glad that you are here. This season, we are slowing down to go deeper. Every Monday and Wednesday, we're creating a space of intentional healing, authentic conversations, and the kind of self-love that transforms from the inside out. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, where we believe that loving yourself intentionally is the foundation of true transformation. So whether you're on your own journey of rebirth, navigating life transitions, or simply choosing yourself, this is your safe space. So get comfy, grab your favorite beverage, and let's heal together intentionally, because you deserve to embrace that beautiful person that you are. Now let's get started. Well, all right, my beautiful people. Again, thank you for tuning in here to the Season of Self-Love podcast. Well, this is our last Mindset Monday here of the month, and we're closing out strong with the topic, Your Voice is Your Compass. This year in 2026 is all about our Reclaimed and Unashamed year, and we've been focusing on reclaiming our voice and reclaiming our boundaries and reclaiming our power. And today we're talking about how to actually use your voice as a tool for navigation and how to let your inner voice guide you through life decisions, big and small. Because here's what I've learned. Your voice, your real voice, not the voice of fear or doubt or others' opinions, but your authentic voice is the most reliable compass that you have. It will never lead you astray. It will always point you toward your truth. So before we dive deep into this conversation, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to ground ourselves with a 60-second guided meditation. So just to set the tone. So wherever you are right now, if you can close your eyes, if you can, and to get comfortable. All right? All right, my beautiful souls, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I want you to just pause for a moment. And I want you to put both of your feet on the floor. I want you to relax your shoulders and just take a deep breath in and slowly release. And I want you to place one hand onto your heart. And I want you to say quietly to yourself and repeat after me. My voice is my compass. Inhale. Exhale. Now say quietly to yourself, I release confusion. I release the need for external validation. I trust the wisdom that lives within me. Now one more breath in. Release. Now say, I listen to my inner knowing. I trust my voice. I follow my truth. I am reclaimed and I am unashamed. And when you are ready, gently open your eyes. All right, my beautiful people. So let's talk about it. How many of you are standing at the crossroads right now? How many of you are standing at the crossroads right now? Maybe you're trying to decide if you should stay in a relationship or leave, or maybe you're trying to decide if you should take a job or just start that business. Or maybe you are trying to decide if you should move or go back to school or have that conversation or set that boundary. Or have you been asking everyone else what they think you should do? You've been researching. You've been overthinking. You've been analyzing. You've been waiting for a sign. I know I've been there before. But here's what I want you to know. The answer is already inside of you. Your voice, your inner voice already knows. You just have to learn how to listen to it. And more importantly, you have to learn how to trust it. And that's what today is about. Learning to use your voice as your compass. So let's talk about what I mean when I say your voice is your compass. I'm not talking about that voice of fear. That's not what I'm talking about. That voice that says, what if you fail? What if people judge you? What if you make the wrong choice? That's not your compass. That's your fear trying to keep you safe by keeping you small. I'm not talking about that voice. I'm not talking about the voice of other people's expectations. And with that voice on, that's the voice that says, you should do this because that's what that's expected. Or you should choose this because that's what people will approve of. That's not your compass either. But that's conditioning and that's programming. What I'm talking about the voice of inner knowing. That quiet, that steady voice that says, this feels right. This is aligned with me. This is true for me. That's your compass. And the thing is that it's always been there, but you just learn to ignore it. I mean, we've all learned to ignore it because we've been taught to trust everything and everyone except ourselves. We've been taught to look outside of ourselves for answers instead of doing what? Instead of looking within. But your inner voice is the most reliable guide that you have. It knows your truth. It knows your truth. It knows your path. It knows what's aligned for you and what's not. So the question is, are you listening? Are you listening? Now, before we go any further, I want to help you to understand the difference between the voices that you are hearing, because I think this is where people get confused. You see, that voice of fear, see, that's loud. It's very loud. It's urgent. It's panicked. It says things like, you can't do this. You're not ready. What will people think? You're going to fail. And you know where this voice comes from? This voice comes from ego. This voice comes from a survival mechanism because it's trying to protect you. But it's also trying to keep you stuck. And then there's the voice of conditioning. The voice of conditioning is repetitive. It sounds like your parents, your teachers in society. So it says things like, well, you should, or you're supposed to, this is what, reasonable people should do. This voice is, this voice isn't even yours. It's what you've been taught to believe. That's what that voice is. It's not even yours. But it's been taught what you're supposed to believe. And then it's the voice of your inner knowing. Now, this voice is quiet and it's calm and it's clear. And it doesn't argue or convince. but it just knows. And it said things like, man, this feels right. This is a line, and this is my truth. And this voice comes from your soul, from your intuition, from your higher self. This is your compass. So when you're trying to make a decision, you have to learn to discern which voice is speaking. And that takes practice, that takes presence, and that takes tuning in. So why do so many of us struggle to trust our inner voice? Why do we keep looking outside for answers? And here's what I've learned. We stop trusting our voice because we've been taught not to. We've been taught as children, don't talk back. Don't question authority. Do what you're told. We were taught that other people know better than we do, that we should defer to experts, to elders, to anyone but ourselves. And then as we got older, maybe we made some decisions that didn't work out. Or maybe we trusted our gut and led us somewhere hard. Or maybe we followed our heart and got hurt. And so we started to believe that we can't trust ourselves and that our voice is unreliable and that we need someone else to tell us what to do. But here's the truth. Your voice is not unreliable. Sometimes that path that your voice lead us on is hard, but it's always right. It's always true, and it's always aligned. And sometimes you have to go through the hard things to get to the healing. And sometimes you have to follow your voice into the unknown to find yourself because you don't know. So if you've been doubting your inner compass and if you've been second guessing yourself, I want you to know that your voice is trustworthy. You just have to practice listening to it again. The thing is just, let me tell you something. The expert, your parents, your teachers, the only reason why they know what they know is because they have experienced it in their own way. And honestly, this is something that I had to learn myself from my experience of me having to do things myself. I know you guys have heard me a lot of times. There are a lot of things that I had to unlearn. I did. And even when talking to my daughters, and even when talking to you, even though I might give you a scenario, a situation, I might give you something and give you a tool. And you might use that tool a different way to get you out of a situation or help you through a situation. But you have to get through the situation. Does that make sense? I'm hoping that it makes sense for you because I'm trying to find the words to help to explain it better for you. But you have to choose to make the decision to go through, to live life. Does that make sense? Because we don't know anything until we do it. If you don't do, you won't know. You won't have the experience. If I don't do the action, then I won't know if I can do it. If I won't dribble a ball, then I won't know if I can dribble a ball or not. Right? If I don't write a book, or if I don't try to write a book or I won't know if I can do it, right? The only way that I can do something if I practice and I do it, right? Right. But that also comes with your voice. You have to experience things in life, and that means to do. All right, so let's get a little practical here. How do we actually tune into your voice? And I hope I didn't lose y'all there, because sometimes I can go on a little tangent, but I hope I didn't lose you there. So how do you assess your inner compass when you're trying to make a decision? So here's 4 steps that I use, and I hope that you can that will help you. Step 1, get quiet. You cannot hear your inner voice if you're surrounded by noise. And I'm not just talking about physical noise. I'm talking about mental noise, emotional noise, other people's voices. So the first step is to create a space. Turn off your phone, step away from social media. Stop asking other people for advice and just be still. Sit in silence, go for a walk, take a bath, whatever helps you to be quiet, because your voice is always speaking. You just have to create a space to hear it. And step 2, ask questions. Ask questions. Once you're quiet, ask yourself the question that you're trying to answer. But don't ask it from your head. Ask it from your heart. So instead of what should I do, ask what feels true for me. Instead of what's the right choice, ask what's aligned with who I am. And then listen. Don't rush to answer and don't force it. Just ask and listen. And then step 3, feel, don't think. And this is so very important, because your inner voice, it speaks through your body, through your intuition, through your feelings, and not through your thoughts. So when you're listening for your voice, I want you to pay attention to how your body feels. Does this choice make you feel expansive, or contractive? How do it make you feel? Are you expanding? Are you expanding? Does it make you feel light, or does it make you feel heavy? Does this make you feel excited, or does it make you feel anxious? Your body knows, your gut knows, and you need to trust that knowing. And in step 4, trust the first answer. Your inner voice usually speaks first. It's that immediate, quiet knowing that comes before the mind starts analyzing and second guessing. So trust that first answer. Don't overthink it. Don't talk yourself out of it. That first knowing is your compass. So follow it. Now, I know some of you are thinking, okay, but Nyomi, what is my voice telling me to say something scary? What if it's telling me to leave my job, in my relationship, move across country to start over? Here's what I want to say to you. Your voice is calling you towards something that scares you. That's actually a good sign. That means that it's real. That means that it's growth. That means that it's aligned. Your inner voice will often call you toward things that would challenge you, that would stretch you, that require you to step into a bigger version of yourself. And yes, that will be scary, but it's also where your freedom lives. That voice of fear will say, stay small, stay safe, don't change. That voice of your inner knowing says, grow, expand, become who you are meant to be. So if your voice is leading you somewhere that scares you, take that as a confirmation that you are on the right path. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is trusting your voice even when you are afraid. Even when you are afraid, trust it. Yesterday, I had a long 4-hour conversation with one of my good girlfriends. And it was so funny because through the whole conversation, we had so many confirming. We were like confirming each other, and I don't want to say confirming each other fears, but I guess it was kind of like that, just going through it. And we both, the funny thing is that we both were going through kind of like the same kind of sickness going on. It was like a we had this cold, this cough, and we kind of got it at the same time. Like I was kind of healing healing in the same day. It was like this dust of something that came along, and we both kind of caught it around the same time. Different states caught it around the same time. They kind of had us, kind of slowing down, kind of set us down for a moment. And she's thinking about moving, relocating somewhere else. And and she's doing, her business is doing great and everything doing great. And she's kind of apprehensive of moving forward. And I kind of did a kind of a pivot move, and I kind of like laid back, but I'm also thinking of doing something else as well. And so we were talking about the comfortability on where we at now, but also excited about moving forward, but also about that fear moving forward. And I remember telling her, girl, you can move anywhere and you do amazing wherever you go. You just got to go there, and you just got to do that. And I remember as I was talking with her, mind you, we're just on the phone, we're not on FaceTime. And I knew that she was a mirror image of me, and we were mirror imaging one another in doing that. And I'm just thinking about this show, and thinking of us being each other's inner voice in this moment, and taking the fear away. And I remember asking her, what was your thought when you moved to California from Chicago? I knew when I moved from Chicago to California, there wasn't a fear in my body. I was so fearless when I moved. I was fearless. I didn't know where I was going to stay. I was just gone. I knew what I wanted to do. That next move, it was like nothing to me. And, and it was the same for her. And it was like, why now? We're kind of, doing good in our businesses. So it's like, why now? But why is it apprehensive now when we know when we went somewhere and we've done so well? Why can't we pick up and do it again to get more, to grow more, And it's like, we know it's time to grow more. We know that it's time to really grow. So pay attention to that inner voice. Listen to that compass. That compass is creating more for us, allowing us to truly expand even more, bigger than what we can ever imagine. So what is the holdup? And it was just funny, just through that whole 4-hour conversation, I was still cleaning and stuff like that. But it was so, it was such a rewarding conversation that the both of us were having with one another, because it was a more a give and a receive conversation that we were having in that moment. And I just had to share that, because this conversation that we're having today here, talking about that compass, it just reminded me of that whole. So once we finish with this, I'm gonna share her about this. Yeah, here. Okay, let me go, because I can just keep going on and on and on. All right, so here's another question for you here that I hear a lot too. So what if I trust my voice and I make the wrong choice? And what if I mess up? Here's the truth about that. And I think I said it a little bit before, but there's no wrong choice. There's only choices, and every choice teaches you something. I remember making that move to California. I remember my family like, girl, what are you doing? You have 2 children. Where are you going? What if this don't, like, they gave me every obstacle if it don't work out. Never once did they say if it work out. It was, what if it don't work out? What are you going to do? It was never a positive to it. And I couldn't think that way. I didn't think that way. It was like, no, this was going to happen. Something was going to happen. I didn't know what, but something was going to happen. So sometimes your voice has to lead you into a situation that's hard, so you can learn, so you can start to build your toolkit. Sometimes it will lead you toward lessons that you need to learn. Sometimes it will lead you to something that doesn't work out the way that you are expected, but it's supposed to for you. That doesn't mean that your voice was wrong. It just means that you are exactly where you need to be to learn what you needed to learn. And your voice is not trying to make your life easy. Your voice is trying to make your life true. And sometimes the truest path is the hardest one. And I know that might sound crazy, but that is. You could be the richest person in the world and still stuff, excuse my language, shit still gonna become fucked up. And so it's like we have to stop worried about making the wrong choice. I know some people that won't make a choice at all. They would just sit. They won't make no choice. They would just sit there in misery. I'm not going to make, they're just so afraid to make a choice. Because they're afraid of making a wrong choice. So I'm not going to do anything. But little do they know, not making a choice is making a choice. That's messed up. So it's like now you have to start trusting that your voice is leading you exactly where you need to be in that moment, in that time, where you need to go. And stop listening to everyone else on the outside. Because their life is not your life. Their assignment is not your assignment. Their purpose is not your purpose. And that is where everybody gets messed up. Let me give you some examples of how to use your voice as a compass in different areas of your life. So when we talk about in a relationship, your voice will tell you who feels safe, who feels aligned, who feels like home, right? It would also tell you when it's time to let go, when a relationship has run its course, and when you need space. So trust, that's knowing, right? So then now let's talk about in your career. So your voice will tell you what lights you up, right? What drains you and what feels like your purpose, right? And it will guide you toward opportunities that are meant for you in a way from the ones that aren't. And even if the logical choice looks different. And then let's talk about in your health. Your voice will tell you what your body needs, when to rest, when to move, what to eat, and what to release. And then your body will always communicating. Your body is always communicating. You just have to listen. And then in your decision, big or small, your voice knows. Should you say yes to that invitation? Or should you invest in that course? Or should you have that conversation? Ask your voice, feel the answer, and trust it. I'm going to be honest. There's been plenty of times that I have ignored my voice. I have. Plenty of times. And I sit with it and I said, okay, I've ignored my voice, but I've learned my lesson from it. And I'm good with it. I'm good with it. And I guess I can say that right now. Was it the wrong? No, it wasn't. I ignored it, but was it a wrong choice? No, because I've learned a lesson from it. All right, so here's a practical what I want y'all to start using this week, because I want to move this along a little bit. So anytime you have a decision to make, I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. Question 1, does this feel expansive or contracting? Does this feel like I can really expand with this? Is my voice letting me allow me that I can expand with it? Or is it keeping me bound or contracting? So when you think about this choice, does your body open up or does it close down? Does your body open up or does it close down? Does it feel like a yes or a no? Your body knows. Question 2, is this aligned with my values and my truth? So does this choice honor who you are? Does it reflect what matters to you, or is it based on what you think you should do? And question 3, am I choosing from love or from fear? Are you choosing this because it feels true and aligned, or are you choosing it because you are afraid of what will happen if you don't? Fear-based choices lead to resentment. Love-based choices lead to freedom. These 3 questions will help you tune into your voice and navigate any decision with clarity. Any decision with clarity. All right, so before we close out, I want to leave you with an affirmation. And I want you to repeat this with me out loud if you can. My voice is my compass, and I trust my inner knowing. I listen to my truth, and I follow with courage. I release the need for external validation, and I am guided from within. I am reclaimed. I am unashamed. I am free. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, my beautiful people. I hope that this message landed exactly where it needed to land today. And I want you to remember, you don't need anyone else to tell you what to do. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You have everything you need inside of you. Your voice is your compass. It will guide you through every crossroad, every decision, and every season of your life. You just have to learn to listen to it. And more importantly, you have to learn to trust it. So this week, I want you to practice. Get quiet. Ask your questions. Feel the answers. Trust your voice. And watch what happens when you start following your inner compass. If this episode's resonated with you, I want you to share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a review. And as always, send me a message on Instagram because I love hearing from you. So until next Mindset Monday, this is Nyomi Banks reminding you that you are worthy, you are powerful, and you know the way. Your voice is your compass, so trust it. Be good to one another and yourselves, and always keep it so sexy, my beautiful people. Have an amazing, amazing day. Have a good one. Thank you so much for joining me today on this journey of intentional healing. I hope that this conversation has filled your cup and reminded you of the beautiful and worthy person that you are. I want you to remember, healing isn't about rushing. It's about showing up for yourself with love and intention, one day at a time. So I'll see you back here Monday and Wednesday for another episode of the Season of Healing Intentionally, right here on the Season of Self-Love podcast. So until then, keep choosing you. And visit us at the seasonofselflovepodcast.com for show notes and resources. And remember to connect with me on Instagram at The Real Nyomi Banks. This has been brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, because your healing matters. You are loved, you are worthy, and you are exactly where you need to be. Take care.